Are you a South African thinking of coming to Canada? Today I'm going to walk you through the mistakes South Africans make when they come to Canada and how you can avoid them. Let's go. These mistakes, they're not deal breakers. You should just be aware of them and then you can help yourself get back on track. Mistake number 1 is being in constant contact with your family back in South Africa. Okay, it's gonna sound weird to say this, but immigration is a lot like a breakup. It's like South Africa is that girlfriend. It doesn't always work that well. I mean, once in a while you have the Springboks win and you're like, Bokkie, jy's die een vir my, and you feel great about each other. But a lot of the time she really doesn't treat you very well. And you're really ready to settle in life now and go for someone stable. And like Mr. Canada comes around and he's like steady and he wants to look after kids and give them, affordable post-secondary education. Not as exciting as South Africa. Weather isn't as great. You're like, I'm ready to make the change. But then, it's kind of like when you keep going back to an ex, you keep liking their posts or looking at what they're doing. If you keep focusing on South Africa, it's almost as if you're physically in Canada, but you are mentally still back in South Africa. So I'm not saying don't ever talk to your family back in South Africa. That's weird. But if you find yourself spending a lot of your free time after you've immigrated just being about South Africa, watching South African content and just being focused on every detail of what your family life is back in South Africa, it's probably not going to bode well for you to make friends out here and to make new connections. Just going to be honest with you. Point number 2, if you are going to pursue a career change, that's totally fine. However, if you're going to pursue a career change out of a place of fear and transition and being afraid, that's probably not the best thing to do. I get it. You've changed your life. Why would you not want to even consider changing your career path? You're in a new country. Why not reimagine yourself? However, if you're going to put your entire life at risk and make it really uncomfortable for everyone because there's not enough financial resources to go around, it's probably not the best idea to make the switch just yet. Maybe plan for it. Have it as a side hustle, the new thing you want to do. Study part-time. And I say this all if you have a ton of financial resources and you just want to go and change everything up, or you need to do accreditation to go further ahead, absolutely. Do that. But changing your entire life and career on top of immigration, that seems really out of a place of stress and probably not the best way to go. And I'll maybe just put it on the brakes for a little while. Point number 3, burning through your capital, your money on things that are lifestyle related and non-assets. Okay. The South African exchange rate is not great, especially compared to the Canadian dollar. So if you are looking at spending money on lifestyle things like the nice couch or getting the nice car, I honestly think that is a mistake. You may think some of those things are important, but I would personally say if you have limited resources, to just go easy, buy secondhand. Keep it really simple. You can live a few weeks to months without some of those things, and they don't have to be brand new. I think it gets really stressful when you see your resources diminishing and you don't have a job landed yet and you're really stressed. So you can really put it on hold. Your first car is from getting to point A to point B. Think about the neighborhood that you're going to live in. Maybe you can walk around more. Maybe you can use public transit because it's safe. You can actually use the public transit. You don't need 2 cars immediately. You don't need to buy a house immediately. You can rent a little bit. Bide your time and bide your resources, because when you have everything divided by 10, it's not always a great feeling. It's a little bit stressful, and you don't want to add on top of that having buyer's remorse over a purchase. Well, the next point is thinking that you're going to have the same lifestyle that you had in South Africa, but just transplanting it to Canada. It's probably not going to be the case. You may have bride 9 months of the year in South Africa, but jy gaan dit nie hierso kan doen nie, unless you're really, really dedicated to it. But I think it's a mistake to have that expectation that you're just going to transplant your life. I think you need to have a mindset that things are going to be different. Be willing to try winter sports. Be willing to try Canadian things like watch a hockey game. Just be open. to things being different, because if you think that you're just gonna walk in and have the same lifestyle with just a bit more winter, it's gonna be a mistake. The next point is clinging to the expat community instead of integrating with Canadians. It's really plain and simple, this one. I have a whole video on the cultural differences between South Africans and Canadians, but I still think Canadians are pretty great people, and I think you can build some really great relationships. It just takes a little while to integrate, get used to the lifestyle and the way people kind of hang out. And I think if you are open to those changes and you integrate, you'll have a way more comfortable lifestyle and community in the long run. Okay, this next point is a little controversial. I actually almost thought about not mentioning this, but I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna be real with you. I think that if your marriage is not a great situation, so if you're married or have a partner and you think that coming to Canada and changing the scenery is going to be a good thing, I think you're going to be sorely surprised. The amount of stress that immigration puts on a relationship, it's tough. I really feel like you need to be on the same boat about immigrating, being like, yes, we're going to do this. And also you got to be on the same team. Like, you can't have one winner and one loser. One person wins, gets to go to Canada, the other one's a loser because they have to go to Canada. Ugh, that is rough, so rough. Like, if you need to do some therapy before you come to Canada to make sure you're on the same page, have the same expectations of what you're willing to go through, it will be worth the amount of money you spend on it, because immigration for sure has never fixed a marriage. It never will, but it for sure has rocked a lot of marriages. The next point, and I say this out of a place of caring and not a place of like guilting you, it's not what I'm about. I do think you sometimes forget the privilege that immigration is. I mean, it breaks my heart. Some people might watch these videos and they may not have the opportunity to immigrate. They don't have the financial resources, they don't have the education accreditation, they're not in the right age category. That sucks. And in the darkest moments of immigration, it's good to hold on to knowing that you're actually in a point of privilege. You're in a rough spot, for sure. You're rethinking your whole entire life. But you are still getting out there with the opportunity for a better life. And that is just amazing. Which leads me to my next point. It's very simple. I think if you have a gratitude practice, which essentially just means write down a list of 5 things a day. They can be as tiny as my coffee tastes great. Every day, it will kind of put you in the mindset of just being positive. And I know this sounds so crazy out there when you just changed your entire life and you're stressed and you're depressed. But I think trying to be a model for your family and for yourself and trying to get into a positive mindset is really important if you are immigrating, and any little thing that you can do to help get through the rough patch is important. The next point is immigration and the rough parts in the beginning. It's important to remember it is just a moment in your life. I'm looking back 20 years later. Best decision my parents made for us as a family to move. There were rough times, and I'll get into other details in other videos, but being aware that you are just in a rough point and that it's difficult emotionally and you are not alone in this, every immigrant has gone through this, that is really important to help your sanity and feel like, you know, like eventually it is going to get better. Glo vir my, eendag gaan dit beter wees en jy gaan soveel beter voel oor die hele proses. That video ended up being way longer than I thought it would be. Subscribe, because every Wednesday I post new content. And if you are curious about my day-to-day life, my Instagram is Christi in Calgary, and I'd love to see you there. Till next time. Mistake number 1 is being... Mistake number 1. Sound weird to say this, but